me see if I can speak in headlines. Sarah Bovim with Whirlpool Corporation. Whirlpool is headquartered in the United States. We manufacture appliances for the U.S. market and for many markets. We are an exporter, we're an importer. We have 25,000 U.S. employees and 100,000 employees worldwide. North American market couldn't be more integral to our business. Canada is a very important export market, and our global operating platform positions us to manufacture in Mexico for Mexican production. And 80% of what Whirlpool sells in the United States is made here in the United States, in states like Ohio and Iowa and Michigan and the very Rust Belt where a lot of folks came out to vote in this last election. 3 quick principles as we think about NAFTA. The first is do not pull up the drawbridge. Allow us to keep things in place. Let's look at where we can refresh some of the principles that we negotiated 23 years ago. 23 years ago, I think I was in grad school, probably reading an economics book written by Joe Stix. Remember him? And Stiglitz. And Joe Stiglitz, I think we got the macroeconomic stuff right. You know, we can see the benefits to the industry, to the geopolitical issues. But in hindsight, I think there probably is some reconsideration that has to be looked at on the microeconomic level. And those are the communities in which we live and operate. And as any of you and I travel around the United States, there are many small towns where you see sort of these displaced workers and communities. And while I don't associate that to NAFTA, it certainly raises a question of how did we get the trade adjustment? Did we get the retraining right in that side of the equation? Did we get the enforcement provisions right as part of the macroeconomic upside? So yes, indeed, there's no question that we embrace NAFTA and our workers embrace free trade, but we also think we need to ensure that if the institutions haven't kept up to the realities and the results of open and free trade, then we may have to take another look at updating and modernizing not only the agreement, but the institutions that enforce them. So renegotiating NAFTA, in my mind, is doable, and we hope that it will be done under due process with a notification period to Congress, and that it will be done under what was a heavily fought for TPA, so that Congress and the administration can work in due process and solicit industry and other stakeholder feedback to get it right. The one thing I guess I would say, just to springboard off of a couple of you folks, is that I think one of the things that is an opportunity is we are a couple cycles past the post-industrial period when we negotiated NAFTA. And if you sort of step back and look at where we are, we're even past the IT cycle and the Internet of Things, and we're now more in the knowledge economy. So there's a lot of intangible things and services that go, and supply chain issues that go with updating this agreement. And so when we take a look at renegotiating this agreement, I think one of the things that heartens me is that we're going to have a number of business principles renegotiating the agreement. And what I mean by that is if you take a look at the administration, folks like Wilbur Ross, the potential designate for USTR, there are a number of grown-ups who have lived NAFTA, whether it was in the textile and apparel industry or the steel industry. I think they've seen both the upside in terms of Wall Street validating and the street validating the integration of the economies, and also the downside to some of their communities and smaller industries. Let me just do what my other fellow panelists did here, and that is to say, if we were to take a look at NAFTA and focus on particular areas of deeper dives, one area that would be appealing, I think, to Whirlpool and to our industry writ large is in the areas of rules of origin. You know, the same conditions that brought us to TPP haven't changed. those realities are the same, and that is that we're operating with rules of origin that don't recognize where we are or what we are making today, and that is also true in manufactured goods, not just in some of the IT. And to that end, there are rules of origin that could absolutely benefit from another look. And this is not in any way specific to Mexico or Canada, but it does beg the question of, what was negotiated 23 years ago, is that relevant today? So let me stop there to give the floor back to you all and to Doug.
Thanks, Sarah. Thank you all panelists. That was fantastic. As I sit here and listen to the windows nearly blow out from the wind, I would suggest that one thing we add to the negotiating schedule is more import Mexican weather and less export Canadian weather. Because I enjoyed yesterday a lot more than I'm enjoying today. Sorry. All right. Well, we're open for questions. I think you've heard from 4 key sectors of the economy, and with that.